Hey, Brooklyn.
Hi.
It's been a while. You must have some big fantasy news for us.
Sure do. Taylor Swift's new album drops this week. The Life of a Showgirl.
That's not fantasy news. Do you have maybe something about Travis Kelsey you could share?
You mean like that he's nice and clean?
Nice and clean. What do you mean?
Well, every Sunday you yell at the TV that Travis Kelsey is washed.
Welcome to another episode of Three and Out. The Yankees win. God, that was stressful, but we just in time for the show to start. Welcome back, Three and Out fans. I'm your host, Wade Cavadi, and as always, I'm joined by the best fantasy football co-hosts in the Dad universe, Chris Fanduel Fee Fiamano and Mike the Professor Dutton. Fee, how we doing?
Not bad, not bad. Had another awful fantasy week this past week. So things are going swimmingly on the fantasy front for me. I'm, of course, being sarcastic. Um, but other than that, yeah, things are okay. I'm looking forward to this week in football and hopefully getting the train back on the tracks.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Dutton. How you doing? I know you're
Well,
doing okay because you beat me by like 100 points.
yeah, I had a pretty good week fantasy wise in Nitro. Not so much in our league, Wayne, but Nitro, I crushed it. Most points in the league. It was pretty great. And speaking of train, I was on the train today. Took a little train into the Big Apple, took a little train back out, had a little Tomcats 2/3 owners meeting that we had to talk about some important team issues, and we think we're okay. And met with the people's team. It was
Nice.
good. So yeah,
Uh,
let's talk
so
fan.
yeah, so my quarterback is out in our league. Brock Purdy's out. Luckily last week when Terry McLaurin was out, I luckily had so much wide receiver depth, so I was able to start Tyreek Hill. That was great. And then my starting running back because of injury last week was Trey Benson. So that worked out well for me too, who is now on IR. So the segue here is that we had another week of not only brutal but impactful fantasy football injuries. Malik Neighbors, dead. Tyreek Hill, dead. Niedermeyer, dead. But the Bills are on their third punter because the other two punters have been injured.
And their second kicker, remember,
And their kicker is on the IR. Like what? I need to calm down. We've had injuries before, boys. Like we've been doing this for a long time. And if you remember back to our 1999 season, that was our second year doing it. Every one of us thought we had it figured out. And by the second week of the season, Terrell Davis tore his ACL. Jamal Anderson went down right after the big year that he took the Falcons to the Super Bowl. Remember, Vinny Testaverde took the Jets to the AFC Championship and broke his leg or tore his ACL or something in game two. Michael Irvin got injured so bad his career ended. That was the year they were all high draft picks and all fantasy impactful people, and they all went down by week three. But this feels different now, right? And I have some thoughts on it. We obviously are dealing with an injury pandemic because we're losing players not only from a fantasy perspective, but NFL. Malik Neighbors is fun to watch, and now we don't get to watch him
yeah,
all year.
that's the sad.
Like that. Those are the people. CeeDee Lamb, whether you like the Cowboys or hate the Cowboys, that dude is fun to watch, and he's gone for another 3 weeks if we're lucky. So let's talk about the injuries first. Let's run down what we're adding to our injury list this week. Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall both announced out for Thursday night. Trey Benson put on the IR. Tyreek Hill done for the year. Lamar Jackson looks like he's missing this week. Bucky Irving is on the fence, even for you, Dutton. They're saying that ankle is messed up. Braylon Allen for the Jets, who was supposed to be 50-50 timeshare in this backfield, done. And, Jaden Daniels sounds like he's back this week. Terry McLaurin's still a question mark. We're talking about exciting players right there, and Lamar Jackson makes you watch football. Done. So, Dutton, we'll go with you. What is going on with the injury pandemic in the NFL?
Well, you know me. I'm gonna
Wait, sorry. From a fan, we want the fantasy perspective.
I know, no, and that's what I'm gonna give you 100%. So, We talk about this every year, how this is just something that we have to prepare for as fantasy owners in terms of injuries. Everything you said, I agree with. I'm thinking back to your original point about, is it a bigger deal? It's a bigger deal because we talk about fantasy every day, right? So the injuries are more in your face when, like, as soon as somebody gets hurt, you're thinking about it from a fantasy perspective. You're not thinking about it like, how does it impact that team? You're more of like, how's it impacting my team, right? So, but I don't know. Like, the big one is neighbors, and the neighbors is a big one because maybe it's Jimmy Hoffa. Like, what is going on with the turf at MetLife Stadium?
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the big question because there's like a long list of season-ending injuries that have come out of that stadium in the last 4 years, and they've changed the turf. So you can't even say like they tried, right? It was bad. They tried to fix it. So
But it
I
has
don't
to be
know.
grass at this point. I know, I
Yeah,
get
it
that it's the
has to be.
Northeast, but I mean the turf ain't
Well,
working to
and
your
here's the
point.
thing, it's gonna be grass anyway because that's where the World Cup finals are gonna be next summer. So it has to be grass for that because that's part of FIFA's rules. So
Uh,
but in terms of injuries and going back to that, I'm with you. Like, it sucks. It sucks when you see a guy go down and you know they're down for the season and it impacts your fantasy team. I mean, and we're talking fantasy wise, because I'm
yes.
also like, it sucks for the real team and the impact there has. I mean, and I'm going to talk about it later, but just you didn't mention the Joe Burrow injury because we've already talked about it,
Right.
but that
Right.
Joe Burrow injury is devastating fantasy wise.
Because of the effect of other players, not
Right.
just him.
Exactly. So yes, I think it's a hard sell for fantasy owners to have fun when you're watching your team get hurt.
Decimated.
Right.
Decimated. Like
Right. And it's not like,
decimated.
right. And to your point, Wayne, and I'm going to let Fee jump in a minute, but to your point, like, it's not like so and so's out. Like, I'll use Bucky Irving. Like, he might not play this weekend, but you don't think he's going to be out for multiple weeks. Whereas Tyreek Hill goes down Monday night, and you're like, well, there goes that for the year because you knew immediately. So,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah, I just there. So yes, I understand it's not fun, especially if it's stacking up on specific, like in your case, your team, right?
Yeah.
So it's not spread out
It's not
amongst
fun
a
at
lot of
all.
teams, right? Fiamano, go ahead.
Well, Fee, I have a question about something Dutton said, and you may have seen this stat. Because I don't think it's something close to this. I think it's the Giants have had 8 first round draft picks over the last 6 years because this year they had 2 and one other year they had 2. So they've had 8 over the last 6 years. And outside of this year, every one of them has gotten hurt on the turf. So
I have
6 of the 8. So keep an eye on Jackson Dart and whoever else you drafted this year and pray they don't get injured. But that's
Really, it'll be next year you have to worry about them.
so but that's the point. We're talking about the high impact players here, right? We're talking about their first round draft picks have all gotten hurt on the Jimmy Hoffa field, like Dutton said. Anyway, Fee, your take on fantasy football and the injuries we got going on.
well, just to play a little bit of devil's advocate. Injuries happen every single year. And yes, it seems as though it's been a lot more this year than in past years, especially with the high impact players, right? Those popular big time scoring guys that you draft in the first few rounds have been getting hurt more so than what we've seen in the past. Injuries have always been a thing. Um, and if you play fantasy, you have to deal with it. You have to pick up guys on the wire. You have to make do with what you've got. You've had to have guys on your bench to kind of overcome that. And some teams, some people get more lucky than others, right? It is a pain. It is kind of annoying, especially this year because of so many high profile guys getting hurt. But there's only two ways to fix it, right? You either don't play season long anymore, right? You go the daily route where you pick a new lineup every week and you don't have to worry about injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't play fantasy football at all, right? Those are your options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
And I'm
because
leaning
Or
towards
you stick with season long and you deal with it, right?
I'm
And
leaning
that's what
towards the
most of us do
daily.
is we deal with it. It's annoying and it sucks and it can screw you. There are probably a lot of teams that are not screwed, right? There are probably a lot of teams that are in first place, second place, and they're like, "Oh, this is great. All these guys are getting hurt on these other teams. This is going to be fantastic. I'm going to swim into the playoffs and win a championship. It's going to be great."
Oh,
Right?
I'm
So,
tied for first, and I'm dealing with it. So I definitely deal with it, right? I'm in first
yeah.
place in our league. But here's a couple things to build on with what you just said, Fee, and Dutton added some of it, but you said some. You got to pick up people. You got to build depth. Okay, so I don't know if you guys remember, but Tim Saucy T Mason, he was on the original Wayniac Fantasy Football Starts and Sits writers. He was one of the guys that contributed every week, and we were having the conversation the other day. And he made the point that he thinks fantasy football owners have gotten smarter because, as Dutton said, we talk about it every day. It's in your face every day. So that means the depth isn't there on the waiver wire because they're already on your teams. And when, as in the old days, when people weren't maybe as smart or whatever you want to call it, in tune, because it wasn't in your face, there was people left out there that you were like, it's week 3, and you're like, wait, how's this guy still out there, right? And you were able to grab,
right.
not anymore. That doesn't happen. Yes.
You're making the case for roster limits.
Yeah,
Right.
that's a very
You are
valid point.
100% making the case for roster limits. There are roster limits in our league, okay? And it helps to have some guys still on the wire,
Yeah, it's very true
that you can
because
go
Definitely
out and
does.
grab. It's
And
definitely helpful.
in leagues
You're
that you
making the
could,
case for roster limits.
and in leagues that you could draft all running backs and wide receivers on your bench, you rarely have 2 quarterbacks unless it's a super flex. Rarely anybody has 2 quarterbacks, and it's loaded with running backs and wide receivers. You're absolutely right.
and to your point, Fee, there is the side of it where, and Wayne, you're not going to like this because I've known you for so long, but there's a mind shift of you have to draft your team of superstars, but really your fantasy prowess comes from once your team starts to get hurt and how you can manage week to week. And I'm not saying you're not good at all. Like this is not enough, but you know what I'm saying? Like it becomes a shit. Like, okay, Jamar Chase is going to suck this week. So who am I going to plug in just this one week? So to your point, Fiamano, what you end up doing is kind of playing daily fantasy season long with your team. You know what I'm
And
saying?
that's what's wrong. Thank you, because this is what's wrong. I'm going to read a list of names to you. Okay. I don't even know if you remember some of them. Trung Candidate. Do you remember him?
Yeah,
No.
I do. I
Yeah.
remember.
He was Marshall Falk's backup the year he got hurt. He played 5 games. He scored like 25 to 30 points every game, right? Olandis Gary. You remember him?
Yep.
Mike Anderson. Olandis Gary was who replaced Terrell Davis when he got hurt. Mike
Right.
Anderson was who
Replaced
replaced Olandis
Olandis
Gary when
Gary.
he got hurt. And they both had 1,220 touchdown years. Larry Johnson. Remember that?
Yep.
Reese Holmes went down in 10
Yep.
games. Larry Johnson set rookie records. I don't know if you remember Liddell Betts. He was the guy when Clinton Portis went down it was the Redskins at the time. Liddell Betts came in and ran for 1,100 yards and 12 touchdowns. The problem with fantasy football when the injuries hit now is analytics, because there isn't a single running back that's going to come in for your running back to get you the 25 to 30
because
points.
you have 3
because
guys.
all those guys, those were the Broncos running backs, that it was the Broncos system. And Fee, you could have run for 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns for the Broncos in that run, right? They had guy after guy after guy. We don't have that anymore. You have Derrick Henry, and then after Derrick Henry, if he should go down, you have a slew of 5 guys that are going to carry the ball. So sure, there are names on the waiver wire,
and
but you're fighting for 5 carries. You're not fighting for a work. There's no more workhorses.
You're rolling the dice to maximize the minimal touches your one of 4 running backs is going to
Exactly.
Right.
So, and that's analytics. That's the way it is. You have to have your passing back. You have to have your bulldog back. You have to have your short yardage guy. You have to have the touchdown guy.
Yeah.
So,
and there is an argument, Wayne, that some people don't go into fantasy football for the analytics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want, right.
Look, I play fantasy football. You want to know when I want to play fantasy football? I want to pretend that we're on Madden rookie level and I'm playing a 3-year-old and I score 400 points every game. That's the first word of the thing is fantasy, right? We're not here to play 80 to 71 games because we're playing 2 teams that are hurt. We want to see 150 to 140, and it's impossible to get those games, right? Consistently, I should say. It's not impossible, but it used to be consistent. It's not consistent anymore because that's what I think. I think analytics has killed. Like, who the heck's going to step in for Tyreek Hill? It's going to be like 4 different guys, like rotating, right? It's just it doesn't make sense to me. So that's what I think is. I don't think it's the injuries. Like, Fee, you're right. Injuries have always happened. I think it's the way the NFL has gone, which conversely is how fantasy football is. That we don't have those random dudes you pick up, and it's remember like you said it like 2 years ago, Dutton. You're like by week 4, everyone on the waiver wire that could help turn around a season's gone.
Right.
Now it's the start of the season.
Right.
There's nobody on the waiver wire.
And really quick, before we move ahead, just really quick, you had said something, both of you, and I just wanted to kind of wrap it up, was injuries happen all the time. There are devastating injuries throughout the season. There are years, and this is one of those years, where all the injuries that normally happen throughout a season have been compacted into a very small window. So that's the other problem with fantasy football right now, is that it's not, week 8 and you're having another injury. We've had an injury week 2, 3, 4, like boom, boom, boom. We've been
big ones.
Yeah. So
and multiple too, not just one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, so the point of the story is buys are starting this week, and half the NFL is injured. So good luck, people. You're screwed. Each and every one of you. Fee's screwed. Dutton screwed. I'm screwed. You're all screwed. But we're going to get you some locks of the week and starts and sits. And we're going to get through this all together. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 6 years, Dutton is on a heater. He's got 3 in a row. He improved to 3 for 4 on the season last week. Luckily, we listened to him because that was the 3 and out lock of the week, because Fee and I both got it wrong. That was my first miss of the year, so I'm 3 for 4. Fee is now 2 for 4 after kicking both Dutton and myself our asses last year at the locks of the week. But like I said, 3 and out, our lock of the week, our one lock of the week is a perfect 4 for 4 on the year. So let's just keep it going. And Dutton, we'll start with you, Mr. Hot Hand. What do you got?
Well, those who know me know that there's a nickname I go by sometimes known as Dart, and I heart Dart, and I am going with the Road Dog Giants getting 1.5 against the Saints. I know there's no Malik Neighbors. It's been great to see Malik Neighbors play in that game, but Sterling Shepard, Wan'Dale Robinson, and
Sterling Shepard. Sterling Shepard's on your team.
Not Sterling Shepard. Who am I thinking of?
Darius Slayton, baby.
Slayton. The S confused me. Sorry. Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, and Scattaboo. I mean, he's going to have the ball like 40 times, I think. So I'm going with the Giants. 1.5 underdogs.
Okay. Fee.
I am going with the Carolina Panthers. -1.5 against the Dolphins, who just lost Tyreek Hill, and I think is just an awful team. And I think Carolina, while also not looking very good, has definitely like pieces in place where they have something going on. And I think that they're going to put it together this week against a lowly Dolphins team. So Panthers -1.5.
I like that pick, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later in our starts and sits. I'm going with the Colts over the Raiders.
I like it.
Colts are giving 6.5. Dude, you can say whatever you want about Danny Dimes. He wasn't perfect, but that team played the Rams really well, and the Rams were 1 play away from the Super Bowl last year and looked just as good this year, right? Like,
and let's not forget the idiot dropped the ball. He dropped the ball out of the end zone, or that's a completely different game. So
yeah. The Colts are for real. I hate to say it because I'm a Texans fan, and the Texans are not for real. So it's brutal, but I'm gonna tell you something, Fee. You're gonna hate to hear this. I feel like the Giants are in the ultimate trap game. They just
100%. No.
Right?
I was gonna say when you were gonna go into our pick, our 3 and out pick. I was gonna say, please do not take the Giants. I think I was gonna say this is the ultimate trap game.
It is. It feels like
I actually think the Saints win this game. I hate to say it, but Neighbors is hurt, and
I do too. I agree.
Saints are at home. Like, I just think that the Saints finally get their first win of the year this week.
I hope
I'm wrong. But
I hope nobody in my
it.
survivor pool is listening to this, because my
And
ultimate hope is that half of the league takes the Giants, because I don't think they come out of New Orleans. All the things that you said, Malik Neighbors, rookie quarterback, Everyone thinks they're going to win because they just beat the Chargers at home. The Saints are not good, but they're also tricky. They're
They're
a
not
sneaky
bad.
little team. Yeah.
They're,
They're
they just
scrappy. They're
they
very
Yeah.
listen, the
scrappy.
Saints, I want to bring up the Saints schedule real quick because the teams that they have played have been fairly tough, right? So
Yeah.
like so they lost to the Cardinals 2013. They lost to the Niners by 5. They lost to the Cardinals by 7. The Seahawks crushed them, but the Seahawks are good. And then they lost to the Bills by 12. So they've been in games, and like these are not slouch teams. Bills really good team, Seahawks really good team, Niners at the time were a pretty
Decent
good
team,
team.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think the Saints are better than people think, and the Giants are not as good as people think. Even with Dart, still a rookie, only a second game, can't crown him yet.
Yeah. No,
Anakin.
I'm with you.
That's why he does the eye black thing for Anakin.
Yeah.
Listen, I love him. I think he's eventually going to be
Got
fantastic.
moxie, as they say, and
But
that's what
He
the
definitely has
Giants.
moxie.
And I love it. But it's gonna take some time.
Got a little bit of your boy Baker in him there, Fee. You like
Love
that?
it.
You
I
like it?
love it. I
He's
love it.
got some Baker in him. That's
Man,
gonna be like the next, he's got that dog in him. Now it's gonna be
Yeah, he's got that
Baker in him. I love it. Well, okay. So then, did you guys say where the Colts are?
Yeah, I like the
Yeah, let's
Colts.
do the Colts. Yeah.
That
Colts
was my
are
other
the six
pick,
and a
actually,
half
to be
to
honest.
the is the 3-and-out pick of the week. I really do like the Panthers. We're going to talk about it a little bit more. But the concern of the week here, gentlemen, is that earlier today, listeners, as we know, our friend Taco always likes to go on the road. We got a picture of a buffalo, a picture of him driving past the said buffalo. He texts us that he's going with the Giants, the Eagles, and the Chiefs this week, and we haven't heard from him since. So we're not going to be going on the road with Taco this week, and we're going to hope that he's not plastered on the road somewhere.
Okay, so tell everybody his picks again.
Okay, so Taco he did give us his picks before he got rammed off the road by a water buffalo. I guess it is a Colorado buffalo.
He's not in Africa.
It's a Colorado buffalo.
Yeah, but not a water buffalo.
I don't know the difference. Is there a difference? I like buffalo
Yes.
wings.
Yes.
And buffaloes don't even have wings.
Valid point.
So he's taking the Giants on the road against the Saints, who we just talked about. The Eagles are playing.
Shocker that Taco's taking the Eagles.
The Eagles are playing the Broncos, I believe, right? In Denver,
Yes,
I guess
they
if
are.
he's yeah. And then the other team was the Chiefs. That's the Monday Night Football game
Wait,
on
is
the
he going
road.
to be at the game on Sunday? Are we going to have a live report, Taco, from the road at the
Oh.
game on Sunday?
That would be great if he could do that.
We need to find that out from him and have an update for our listeners. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Denver is at the Eagles, and Taco's just being Taco and sticking with his 4. He did say, he mentioned to us on the text thread that if you bet on the Eagles every week this year with the spread, then you're 4-0. Like they've covered the spread every week. So he's sticking with his guns, even though it's not a road dog. Anyway, let's wish the best for Taco on the road, and we'll see him next week. And get to Fanduel Fee and his stacks of the week.
All right, stacks of the week. So we talked about it. Tons of injuries. Also bye weeks. All right, let's not forget about that.
Yep.
4 teams on a bye. Not to mention Thursday game, Sunday night game, Monday night game. Only 10 games on the main slate this week. So there's not a lot to choose from. There's still some primary guys out there, high salaried guys. But I think this week opens up a lot of value. So stack number 1 this week, I'm going with Justin Fields and the Jets. He's 7,700, and I'm going to stack him with Garrett Wilson at 7,800 versus Dallas. Dallas has the worst defense in the league, passing defense
Yep.
in the league.
Mhm.
And I know that Justin Fields doesn't really pass the ball very well, but he's gotten Garrett Wilson involved a lot. And between his passing and his running, I think that against the Cowboys team, this could be a fantastic situation for the Jets offense. I also wouldn't mind throwing Breece Hall in there. He's
Especially
only
with Braylon Allen out.
especially with Braylon Allen out. He's only 7K, You could triple stack that game. You can play Brees Hall on his own if you want. So really like the Jets offense against Dallas this week. Stack number two, you spoke about him a little bit earlier. Daniel Jones and the Colts. Daniel Jones is only 7,400, who's cheaper than Justin Fields. You stack him with Tyler Warren because there's not a whole lot of tight ends on this slate. There's a few, but I like Tyler Warren the most, especially given his salary. He's
Yeah.
6,100. He's the third highest salaried tight end on the slate. They are playing the Raiders. And if there's one thing we know about the Raiders is they can't cover the tight end. Isn't that right, Wayne?
Yeah, it's been 6 years of us saying that.
6 years of not covering the tight end. So Daniel Jones and Tyler Warren stack them up against the Raiders. A couple of one-offs that I like this week. Cam Scatterbo,
Love that
we
guy.
talked about him, 6,200. Still isn't priced up for the volume he's going to get between running and receiving against New Orleans. If the Saints actually do make this a game, then and I think it's going to be a close game. The Giants are going to have to move the ball somehow, and I think that's through Love Woody Marks this week. Chubb is not the answer. He's pretty much toast in Houston. They're playing Baltimore, whose defense, by the way, has been getting gashed, just
Mm.
absolutely gashed. And I think I read something about six starters are hurt for Baltimore's defense or something like that. So, between that and how they've been playing recently in the last several weeks, I really love Woody Marks. He's only 5,400.
Yeah,
And
Roquan Smith is out.
yeah, and I expect Houston to make this a game. And so Woody Marks is going to get a ton of volume as well. I talked about Brees Hall. I really like him. And then one receiver for you. I like Deebo Samuel this week. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be back. I think
Sounds like
McLaurin is not going to be back. And even if he is, I think he's going to be limited at best. They're playing the Chargers. We just saw what the Giants did to the Chargers. The Chargers defense is also getting hit with injuries as well, and you can move the ball on them. And Debo is probably the best way that the Commanders can do that. So he's 6,400. I really like him this week too. Those are my stacks.
I like it. I like it. I think I'm going to do the Jets stack. I like that. Do you think there's anyone worth coming back with?
Uh, maybe Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, Turd.
But then you're not going to play Tyler, I guess, which is fine. I mean, you're not going to play Tyler Warren, which that's fine. I mean, you're not really stacking him with the Colts. If you're running a Jet stack and you want to come back with a Dallas player, Ferguson is probably a very good choice. I don't really want to go Pickens because of Sauce Gardner, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know he doesn't travel, right? He doesn't switch sides with the receivers, but he's going to be on him half the time, probably. And I don't know. That's tough. I know the Jets D hasn't really been that great. Um, but I don't know. Not really feeling Pickens this week. If anything, I would go Jake Ferguson.
You want to know what I was thinking about when you were talking about the Ravens and the injury? Lamar Jackson, obviously injured, and Dutton. I was waiting for you to get back. I didn't want to jump in. Another problem with the injury bug. Think about it this way: in real life and fantasy, we don't even have 32 good starting quarterbacks, right? Think
Right,
about when we
right. At a
started
normal,
fantasy. When
right.
we started fantasy, when Brett Favre went down, Aaron Rodgers took over. When Drew Bledsoe went down, Tom Brady took over. Even when like Trent Green went down, Kurt Warner took over. And then when Trent Green went down in Kansas City, Alex Smith took over, right? When Alex Smith got hurt, Patrick Mahomes, you had backups that were better than half the quarterbacks that you have
Yeah,
to deal with right
there's
now.
there's a major
Steve Young was a backup, like
there's a major quarterback
right.
deficiency.
So when the
Yeah.
quarterback gets hurt and you have to am I really putting Cooper Rush against the Texans? No.
The Jacob Browning or Jake Browning
Ah.
has shown us that in Cincinnati. It's been
Right.
awful. Right.
It's just
Yeah.
killer. So anyway, so along with the injuries we discussed, we do have our first buys of the year. It's the Falcons, the Bears, the Packers, and the Steelers. So really fantasy wise, we're without quite a few people. No Jordan Love, no Caleb Williams, no Bijan, no Josh Jacobs, no Drake London, no DK Metcalf, no DeAndre Swift, no Tucker Craft, which is huge in the tight end department, and no Roma Dunze, who has been absolutely on
stud,
fire
a
the last
stud,
3 weeks.
stud.
So we're at without all of those, plus all the injuries we mentioned. And I think we said at the beginning, Brock Purdy and Ricky Pearsall officially out now tomorrow night. So like you said, there's only 13 games this week. It's going to be a lot of backups. It looks like we had to do some digging this week. So let's see what we got. Get us. Oh, we do have to mention we did terrible last week.
Yeah, it was bad.
We
It
went
was
three
bad.
for eight. We're 19 for 30. We are accountable. We're not going to skip over the fact that we did bad because we did bad. But we're 19 for 32 on the season. We got to improve on that. And I think we're going to get a sweep this week because I looked at all our picks and I like them. So Dutton, get us started with quarterback start of the week.
Fiamano talked about him, and I mean, he looked like a freaking stud against what was supposed to be a good Packers defense. I'm going Dak Prescott.
Okay. Fee.
I'm going with Indiana Jones against the Raiders.
Nice.
Fee's
Yep.
picking Daniel Jones as his
I love it.
quarterback.
It's you can see his stomach is churning and that's the fakest laugh because he's about to cry. It's one of the so Dutton knows I apologize. I came into the season high on Bryce Young. I made poor Dutton draft him in our league, but this is going to be his last chance for me.
It might be his
I'm not
last
saying
chance in the NFL.
the Dolphins are allowing the second most fantasy points per game to the quarterback, and they have not intercepted a pass this year. If Bryce Young and Ted McMillan don't set a record for most yards from a quarterback to a wide receiver, then I will take the complete loss on Bryce Young, and he's not the dude he was in those last 6 games last year that I thought he was going to be this year. So I'm saying start Bryce Young, and then if he doesn't come through against this Dolphins defense, never, ever, ever think about starting him again. Who do we want to lock in as the start of the week?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. I love it. Comeback player of the year for sure.
100%.
Fee, get us started on running back.
Yeah, I'm going with Montgomery against the Bengals. The Bengals are awful, and I expect the Lions to run the ball a whole lot more this week since they don't really need to do anything else.
Done.
Woody Marks against the Ravens. You know, a running back is something important when Shorty Long's owner Dwayne Ware pays in the $20 range for him, and I think he paid 27 for him, maybe or something.
Wow.
So Woody Marks, yeah, Dwayne really likes him.
I mean, he's good. It scares that offensive line scares me. The Ravens are the best way to do it because of Fee was talking about all those injuries right now.
They don't have a defense. It's like the TEP defense in flag football against.
Yeah. I'm going with the name we haven't said all year, and it's Alvin Kamara. Against the Giants. The Giants have allowed 5 rushing touchdowns. It's the second most in the NFL, tied for the second most. There's 3 teams. But if they are going to win this game, like Fee and I are saying, I feel like he's not that guy, right? He's not like he didn't go in the first round. I don't think he went in the second round, right? Like he's not the Alvin Kamara where he's a must start every week. I think people make question marks. So Kamara's my pick.
I like it. I would back that up and make him our start of the week.
All right. Okay, let's do it.
I am in agreement.
I'm going to start wide receivers. The Raiders' pass defense is kind of middle of the road, and it seems like Danny Dimes and Michael Pittman are establishing a nice little chemistry. So my start of the week at wide receiver is Michael Pittman Jr. Dutton.
If we're trying to broaden our audience, you would say that the Raiders defense is mid.
You know what? That's what it has in my notes, but I didn't say it. 6'7". Have you heard that? The 6'7" thing?
I hear it all day long, buddy.
Right?
All day long.
No, Brooklyn's over here. She's all excited. I just said 6'7".
Speaking of Brooklyn, I know she's a big T Swizzle fan, and she loves Xavier Worthy, and that's why I'm starting this week.
Nice. Playing the Jaguars on Monday night.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going with Garrett Wilson.
Love
I talked
it,
about it earlier against
Pick of the
Dallas.
week. I'm supporting that one for our pick of the week, Wayne.
I mean, is he the best wide receiver in football right
He
now?
might
Everyone
be.
else is getting sniped.
Listen,
in the combo.
he's been really good.
And
Justin
think about
Jefferson is still healthy, but I mean, Carson Wentz and JJ McCarthy aren't doing any favors.
Puka would be the number 1 receiver right now.
Yeah, Puka's been
But
MVP. That's
let's just really quick talk about who Garrett Wilson's had throwing him the ball. Let's talk.
I don't know why Tyrod Taylor isn't in there.
Yeah, it's baffling to me, and he might be. Who knows? Yeah,
I don't get it. Him and Garrett Wilson look great together. So who do we want to lock in?
I like Pittman. Wilson. I like all the picks, but I think Garrett Wilson is a stud this week.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson has 21 targets in his last 2 games.
Yeah, he's so good.
Garrett Wilson. Next.
That's because they also hate who's the guy that they went out and got? Josh Palmer? Did they get Josh
No,
Palmer?
Josh Palmer's on the Bills.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
who did they go out and get?
uh,
Not Josh Gordon. No, that guy's in lots of troubles. Josh Reynolds, the guy from the
Josh Reynolds.
Lions. I knew it was
Right.
Josh. I got there. I got there.
Josh Davis.
No, I saw him today, but he's not on the Lions.
He's not even in football. All right, tight end. Dutton, get us rolling on the tight end start of the week.
I've started him before. I'm starting him again. Sunday night in the all whites, Dalton Kincaid against the Patriots.
Fee, you actually talked about your guy already.
I did. I got Jake Ferguson against the Jets.
Turd.
I do really like Dalton Kincaid too, though.
I'm going with Dalton Schultz against the Ravens because he is averaging more than like just over 5 targets per game, and it's clear that he is CJ. What?
I didn't get the memo about taking a Dalton for tight end.
I know, right? I was hoping. I was hoping that, but I couldn't even think of another Dalton.
Should have let me know.
Dalton,
B.
Darren
Dalton books.
Darren, the Dalton I know is from Roadhouse. That's
Nice.
crazy, Dalton.
Yeah. But yeah, Dalton Schultz is CJ Stroud's safety net. He's getting more than 5 targets a game. So that's why I picked him because there's not a lot of good choices out there. I like Kincaid. I'm good with going Kincaid. Is that what we're doing?
I
Okay.
think he was good with it too, so we're locking it in.
All right, so your starts of the week for the 3 and out are Daniel Jones at quarterback, Alvin Kamara at running back, Garrett Wilson at wide receiver, and Dalton Kincaid at tight end. Sits of the week, Dutton, are you okay? What are you doing here?
Dude, look, I'm sitting back.
Fee is disgusted.
Here's why. He's on the injury report again. They're going across the country, very hostile environment. And the Seahawks were asked to move the game because of the Mariners game on Sunday.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the Seahawks said, no, 4 o'clock's fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just worry about Baker in this game this week. There's a lot of injuries. And not to mention, I'm still a little annoyed with him. That was a bad interception he threw. He did not need to throw that ball. So he needs to learn his lesson. He's on the bench for me.
Fee.
Yeah, to be fair, I agree with Dutton. This is just a bad spot for Tampa Bay going to Seattle overall, and so I agree. But I am sitting Trevor Lawrence against the Chiefs Monday night.
Okay. I'm going to sit Tua. Now, I don't think Tua is even a starter anymore, but of course, now we don't have Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Lamar Jackson, Brock
Right, so
Purdy,
there's a
Joe
chance,
Burrow.
right?
Right. So now you are getting to a guy like Tua that maybe you have to consider starting if you've gotten a couple of those guys. Joe Flacco's done, not injured, but he's done. Like there's a lot of change. Russell Wilson, if he was your quarterback, he's done. So Tua, but I don't think this is the week. The Panthers have allowed just 4 touchdown passes. Their secondary, 4 interceptions. Their secondary's gotten 4 interceptions. So, they've been pretty tough against the pass. I just don't think you could start them, especially without Tyreek. Fee, you look like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, you mentioned Flacco. Is Dylan Gabriel going to run for like 300 yards this week?
Yeah, maybe.
How funny would that be?
So who do we want to sit here? Baker. Fee, normally we go to you to start with running back, but I'm really concerned about Dutton here with his pick, so I want to start here because he's doing it again.
I'm sitting Bucky. I mean, he's on the injury report
He's
too.
hurt.
He's hurt. The ankle. I'm worried about him. Seattle, tough defense, hard game. Yeah, it's all scaring me. It's going to be a lot of Rashad White, I think, this week.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Bucky might not even play.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Remember, we do this Wednesday. So
yeah.
I am sitting Chase Brown against the Lions. You probably drafted Chase Brown to
very
be
high.
If not a number 1 running back, your second running back. And you likely are being let down significantly. So you got to sit him.
We said on this show all preseason, every time we met in the preseason and the ADP and he was in the top 10 or 11, we were dumbfounded. Even a healthy Joe Burrow, I still thought he was going way too high.
we were confused by it for sure.
Yeah, and now he's paying the price. I'm gonna say we're sitting Isaiah Pacheco. You might get excited because he scored a touchdown last week, but it was a passing touchdown that kind of bibbity bobbity booed in there. And the Jacksonville Jaguars haven't allowed a rushing touchdown, so Pacheco doesn't have one. And this ain't the week he's gonna get one because the defense is good enough to stop it. Who do we want to sit? I think
I like.
Bucky Irving's too easy because I really don't think he's playing.
I
So
don't think he's going to play. So let's hit Chase Brown.
okay. Fee, I'll let you start with wide receiver since we robbed you on running back.
All right. I'm sitting the same guy I sat for the last 3 weeks. It's T. Higgins. You gotta sit him.
Who?
And I'm gonna keep sitting him because Cincinnati's offense ain't it.
Yeah, well, let's elaborate on that because we got Chase Brown as our sit of the week at running back. Fee said to sit T. Higgins, and Dutton, you say
Until further notice, you might want to consider sitting possibly your number one pick in the entire league, Jamar Chase, because what I witnessed on Monday night was not
it's
a good sign
ridiculous.
for the rest of the season. Like,
No,
it's scary. And to be fair, they're playing the Lions this week, who I think the Packers loss is starting to look weirder and weirder each week, right? The Lions might be the best team in football.
The Lions have a lot of injuries on defense, and especially in their secondary too.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm still sitting him because Aiden Hutchinson's not going to let the secondary have to worry about having to guard Jamar Chase.
Jake Browning's going to be that guy in necessary roughness, like blow the whistle, blow the whistle. Remember him?
Yeah, so I mean, seriously consider Jamar Chase, and maybe somebody wants to trade for him, and you can get something for him. I don't know, but it's time to figure that out. And it sucks to say it, and it's not his fault. It's not. It's not.
No. Of course, it's not his fault. He's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I want to talk about before I get to my wide receivers? We talked about Marvin Harrison and what to do with him last week. And he played arguably the worst first half you could possibly play. He ran this way, and the ball went right into one of the guy's hands.
Like
it was terrible.
Geniuses.
And then he caught the ball and went like this and put it into the defender's hand. He caused 2 interceptions.
We looked so smart after that. Like, we seriously, we should have sent our show for after the first half to ESPN and be like, these are the guys to listen to. The second half happened.
I mean, it was one touchdown pass, though, really. He just he beat him for a touchdown. Anyway, that has nothing to, I was just thinking about it randomly because we're on wide receivers. But my sit of the week is Devontae Smith against the Broncos. The Broncos aren't the defense we thought they were going to be, but their pass defense has been pretty solid. They've only allowed 1 pass touchdown. Dallas Goedert seems like a touchdown hawk right now when they're not running it and tush pushing it. So sit Devontae.
And really quick, is it because also AJ didn't say anything by saying a lot or said a lot by not saying anything, and so he's going to get the ball a lot this week?
Maybe it's an AJ Brown day.
Yeah.
What do we think? Bengals? Do you want to just say sit the Bengals?
Sit the Bengals.
Sit the Bengals. I'm good with that. Tight ends. I'm sitting Juwan Johnson versus the Giants. I know that we were saying that it could be kind of the upsetville there, but the Giants, we've talked about their defense. It's a lot better than people give it credit for, and I think obviously they'll focus on the top target on the field right now. Fee.
I'm sitting David Njoku against the Vikings. Again, Harold Fannin is there. Dylan Gabriel is your quarterback now. I don't think I'm starting Njoku.
And Dutton over there.
I'm sitting touchdown TJ against the Browns for the simple fact they're going to use him more for blocking
because that line is pretty
double
nasty.
Myles Garrett or something. So it's not that he won't be on the field, but I just think he might be used in other ways this week.
Yeah. So who do we want to lock in?
I don't know. Probably Njoku. Let's be honest.
I'm good with sitting Njoku.
Yeah, that's going to be ugly early
and late.
All day.
All day.
No, I'm saying early because it's an early game. It's a 9:30.
Oh, it's a London game. I got you. Our sits of the 3 and out sits of the week. Baker Mayfield at quarterback. Chase Brown. Just sit the Bengals. Chase Brown at running back. All Bengals wide receivers at wide receiver. And David Njoku at tight end. Gentlemen, I think that wraps it up. Did we forget anything? Good news. We got a text from Taco. He is alive. He just got stuck in a buffalo somewhere. But not a water buffalo. Let's be clear.
Just hopefully nobody's gotten hurt between the start and the end of the show. And
Yeah, we're gonna sign off, and 24 people are gonna be injured. Anyway, yeah, check those injury reports and have a good week on fantasy. Win some money, and we'll see you next week on 3 and Out.